Hi everyone. Today I want to show you the basics of web development. So if you want to become a professional web developer or a software developer, then please follow my tutorials to the end. I'm going to do series of videos that will prepare you to become a professional developer without paying anything. Okay, so just let's set the ball rolling. Okay. Now, you may have browsed the internet before where you go to maybe Google to search for one or two things. Okay. Now, when you are going to Google to search for a website, you open a browser like a Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. So the browser that you normally use, what it does is that it interprets a programming language that we have typed. Okay, we normally type it in HTML, or we have other languages as well. Now, the full meaning of HTML is hypertext markup language, right? So the browser interprets what you and we are going to do right now. Okay, anyone can do this thing. So let me remove any kind of fear in case you have such that anyone, even if you bring a 5-year-old child to follow the tutorials, he or she will be able to follow along. So you do not need a science background. You don't need a computer background. Someone will be like, I haven't done computer science before. You do not need any of these things. You can be a cleaner. You can be just a housekeeper. You can be as old as 95 years. If you have a passion in web development, which pays so well these days, it's among the high ranking jobs that you can, or professions that you can ever find. So if you are interested in becoming a software developer or a web developer, then please join me along as we go through this tutorial. So the first thing we will learn is HTML. I did explain that it basically means hypertext markup language. Okay. Now, when you open any website, the things that you see, they mostly design with HTML, and then we use a browser to see whatever we have created inside the HTML. So at the end of this lesson, you'll be able to produce a basic HTML document by yourself. Okay. Now, to begin with, we need what we call a text editor. So a text editor is a software or a place where we are going to type our code and also edit our code. So once we finish typing and editing the code, then in order to see it on the internet or in a browser, we use a web browser like Chrome, right? So as a beginner, we will be using something inside your own computer, which is Notepad. Okay, Notepad is like Microsoft Word. So in case you haven't used Notepad before, just go to search button and then you type Notepad. Okay, so it will open for you. So let me open my Notepad here. So it looks just like this, so simple and neat. Okay, you don't have to do anything. Just wait for me. In case you have opened, you can follow me along, okay, so that you can have a practical feel of whatever is happening. Now, every HTML document has a format, okay. It's a standard format that we use anywhere in the world, okay. So what is this format? We begin with this thing here. You have this symbol, then we type doc type, then HTML, we close it. Okay, so this one indicates the type of HTML that we use. Normally we use version 5. Okay, so just leave it along the line, you will get much understanding with it. So it must be there. That's the first statement that we give in HTML. Then we go to the next line. Okay, let me leave a space intentionally. Then we open this thing here. We type HTML. Okay, now let us look at it this way. You see, I have opened a bracket here, like less than, and another bracket like greater than. Okay, now this thing here, we call it a tag. Okay, now all HTML all HTML documents do have a opening tag and closing tag. Okay, so when we open a tag like this, we must close it with the same thing, but the difference is that we put a forward slash in it. So HTML, we close it like this. Okay, so this thing here is what you call a tag. The top one is the opening one, and the second one is the closing. I can put it in the same line like this. It doesn't really matter. So in between, that is where we are going to type the information that we want to put in our website. Okay. So remember, on the top side, the very top, you put this information, doc type, okay, HTML. Don't forget the exclamation sign. Then the next thing is to go to HTML. We open HTML document or statement with this tag. So I prefer to put it, in the next line, the closing tag in the next line. So now in between these two, we are going to put all the information that we want to see on our website. Okay, so let's go to another important thing in between the HTML tags. Let's look for the head. Okay, I'll explain what we use the head for. So head. Okay, then like I said, you must also close it. Head. So the closing tag is the same thing, but it includes a forward slash. Okay, look at where the forward slash is. Don't put it in any other place. Okay, here we put what we call metadata, and you understand what that means. Okay, in just a moment. Let me move this to the next line. Okay, then we have what we call body. Body. And we close it and put the closing tag. Body. Okay. Now, what you see here, okay, is just a basic format for all HTML documents, right? Now, let me talk about HTML element. HTML element. Okay, we have this in here, the body, and then the opening tag for the body and the closing tag for the body. And then in between, we are going to put a text, okay? So from the beginning of the opening tag through to the text that we are going to put, and then up to the closing tag is what we call HTML element. Okay, I'll come back to that. Now, I want you to memorize this structure, okay? That anytime you are working in HTML, you need to follow this structure, okay? Now, let's go to the head. The head, we put metadata. Example is the title, okay? So we put title here, title. Then we put a closing tag for the title. Okay. Now the title, I will show you in a moment when we open this in a web browser. What should we call it? Let's call it a page title. Page title. Okay. So just hold on. You understand what this title is about. So in between the head tags, all that we want to put inside is the title for now. We put just the title. Then we go to the body. The body is where we put the main information. The main information. Let's say we want to design a website giving a little information about organic chemistry. Okay, so I'm going to place my information here. You see, for the browser to see the order in which we have arranged these things, we have to introduce tags. Okay, there are so many tags. One of the common ones that we use is the H tags. Okay, we have H1, H2 up to H6. We use the H tags for headings. Okay, if you want to do a heading, so let's say this website is about what do you call it, organic chemistry. So I can put a heading here inside the H1 tag. So we're gonna open H1. This is the opening tag. Then we close it so that we don't forget. H1 again, we close it. Okay. Now, anytime you use the H1 tag, it becomes bold. Whatever text that you use, it becomes bold. You will not see it here, but when we go to the browser will recognize this as a title or a heading. A heading. So let's call it organic chemistry. Okay, chemistry. Right. So from the beginning of the H1 tag to the end is what we call HTML element. HTML element. So we have opening tag, then we have the content, which is the main part, and then we have the closing tag. So the entire thing is the HTML element. Okay. Now you see that we have the H1 tag in between the body, the opening and the closing tags of the body. So such an arrangement is what we call nested HTML element. Okay, so from the beginning of the body, that is the beginning tag for the body and the closing tag, okay, alone is an HTML element. Then inside this HTML element is another HTML element. So we normally call the one which is placed inside the nested HTML element. Okay, so we can also put other details. Remember I said this is the heading, organic chemistry. Okay, and then under organic chemistry, maybe you want to start with hydrocarbons. Okay, so you can now reduce the heading type. Okay, you know the H1 gives you the largest text or font. Then we can go now down to H2. Okay, so we have H2, which is also for heading, but it's it's after the H1. It's a bit smaller than the H1. Okay, so we have H2. Let's close it. H2. So in here, what we want to do is to put hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon. Right. So after hydrocarbon, you may wish to write a little description of what hydrocarbons are. Okay. So let's now use another HTML element, which is the P. Also mean the paragraph. Okay. So let's have opening tag for P or the paragraph. Okay. So we can put the definition of hydrocarbons. So hydrocarbons are organic molecules that contain or that consist of hydrogen and carbon atoms only. Okay. Now I forgot to close this, so let's bring the closing tag P. All right. So we have put another HTML element which is the P element. Okay, so it has the opening tag over here and then the closing tag. Now, what is the difference between the P and then the H element? The difference is that the H element are used for headings. If you want to write you know like the title of a page, or I don't want to use the word title because title here means another thing, so it's basically used for the heading. The main topic that we are discussing is organic chemistry, so that's the heading. So it comes very bold. I use the H1, it's the boldest. Then the H2 comes after H. Then we have H3. It goes as far as H6. Then the main text, which is the normal text that you'll be writing, we can then use the P element, okay, which is for paragraph. So this is what we have done so far. And we can save this work. So this is a complete HTML document that we have created, which can be a website of its own. Okay, so all other things that we are going to do in building a website, they follow this basic format. We are only going to add a few things to it. So don't forget, the structure comes like this. We have this tag with the exclamation sign, doc type, HTML. Then we open HTML, and then we also close it here. Each time you open, make sure you close it so that you don't forget that. Then in between, we have the head element and then the body element. Okay, these are the two main things that we have, the head and the body. It's very easy to remember this or memorize this. Inside the head, we have what we call title. Now, with the title, I'm going to show you in a moment how it looks like. Then inside the body element, we have other sub elements, which we call nested elements. Okay, like H1, H2, P, and so on and so forth. So we put all these things here, including our videos, our pictures, images, and stuff like that. So all information that you want to put, they come in the body element. So let's say you have finished designing this web page and you want to save. Okay, so we go to File. Don't forget we are working in Notepad. So we go to Save As after we have clicked on File. Now, it is very important to take note that when we are saving HTML documents or files, we always end with .html. Okay, so let's say I want to call this my first web page. Okay, my first web page. You don't have to leave spaces in between in case you feel like they are so stuck together and you want to leave a space. Rather use the hyphen or underscore. Okay, so my first web page, I can use a underscore or a hyphen if you want to separate the words. My first web page. Okay, now this file name, okay, we always add .html. If you fail to add a .html, your browser will not be able to recognize it as an HTML file. So for you to be able to view what you have done on the internet, always remember that all HTML files or documents must end with this .html. Okay, so we choose a place where we want to save this file. I think desktop is fine, so save. Okay, so it has saved. So let's minimize this and go to the desktop. So you can see this is the file that we have created. So I can open it. I have different browsers, so let me right click and choose maybe Chrome. Open Chrome. So it's gonna open in our web browser. and appreciate what we have done. Okay. All right. So you can see, so we have successfully created a web page, right? Now let me start with the page title. You see this window, okay? When every window opens, you see a certain name, okay? Now, the name that you see is what we did over here. Let's go back. And the title, okay? So whatever you place here, we said page title. So that is what we are seeing in the browser, right? So when you come to this window, you see page title. I can change it right now. When you change it, you notice that it will also change accordingly. So let's go and change it and see what will happen. So page title, let's say chemistry notes, chemistry or tutorials, right? So if I say chemistry tutorials, let's go and save it. Save. Okay, and now let's go back to the browser and refresh the page. So you see that it has changed to chemistry tutorials. So that is the function of the title that we insert in our HTML document. Okay, so under the HTML element, we have what we call head. So under the head element is where we put the title. Okay, so whatever you feel like giving it, you put that name there and you see it there. Then in the body element, that is where we type everything, or we put the kind of data that we want to display in our website. So I started with the H1 element. Okay, now the H1, as I said earlier, is for headings. So when we go to the page, you see that organic chemistry is very bold. That is the main heading. Then I use H2. Let's go and see. The H2 is here, hydrocarbons, which is a subheading. So subheading should be a bit smaller than the main heading. So when you come here, you can see that the hydrocarbons is a bit smaller than the organic chemistry. Then the main text is where we use the P element. Okay, so let's go back and see from the editor. So we have the P. So hydrocarbons are organic molecules that consist of hydrogen and carbon atoms only. And then after everything is done, we have the closing body tag, and then of course the HTML closing tag is also there. So this is a simple web page that I want you to design your own web page, and then put your comment, or just put something to show us that you are following and you understand. If you have questions as well, you can post your questions right below this video. So in order not to load you so much, I'll end here with today's lesson. I'll upload another video so that we can go in stages. As I said, even a child who is as young as 5 years can follow the tutorials and design his or her own web page. So thank you for watching, and remember the format. Each time you are doing HTML document, your format will always be like this. As we progress, we may add a few more features, but the core concept remains the same. Kindly give the video a like, and then subscribe for future videos. Thank you.